Hello everyone, welcome back to Witchinary. If you have yet to subscribe to this channel, then please do so because we are getting crafty. And today I wanted to share with you guys this super special video. Today we will be making some free-handed watercolor cards using Arteza products. For inspiration, I'm going to be using the One Cool Pineapple stamp set from Simon Says Stamp, although you don't have to use the stamp set and you can definitely use any sentiment that you want for these cards. I'm just very excited to share these Arteza products. Arteza has literally been everywhere within the last year or so. Everyone has one of their products, has had an experience with them, has reviewed them, and I wanted to get in on the action because I'll be honest with you guys, I'm nosy as heck, okay? So I definitely wanted to try out their products, and in wanting to, I was approached by them to actually do a collaboration with them, and I was shook, but I accepted because I thought that, this would be a really good way for me to try out their products, bring you the ones that I absolutely love that I think are totally worth your money, and also get you guys a discount code, so you guys can get these products at a discounted price. I don't see a downside here, so I was like, yes, let's go. To start off, I'm going to take the Arteza watercolor paper and I'm going to cut it into A2 size panels. And the reason why I like this paper is because it has a cotton-like texture that's different from Strathmore. My second favorite item that I got was the Arteza 6-pack Waterbrush set. Now, this Waterbrush set is special because it has 6 different brushes, 3 different tips of flat washes and fine detail brushes, so they're a really good overall set and they have a really great water reserve. I'm also going to be using the watercolor pan set of 36 watercolors, and the reason why I like this is because I think that this is an excellent beginner watercolor set, or just one to kind of have in your stash. The colors blend excellently, and with the exception of the fact that there is no gray, I think I can give them a pass. So to start off with our first card, I'm going to be making a pineapple card. For my pineapple card, or to get the shape of a pineapple, you simply just have to draw an oval. And don't, feel bad if the oval isn't perfect. These are watercolor cards, and one of the best things about watercolor cards is that they look weird. So if you make yours look weird, somehow they look really quirky and really fun, and that literally works out. So that's one plus of these. Also, because you're using watercolor, it's really easy to fill in the shape or to adjust it as you go. So if you don't like it, you can definitely fix it. And I really, really, really like that. I'm going to use the Super Detail Fine Arteza brush pen for this, just because I feel like it gives me ample dexterity over what I'm doing, and I'm pretty good at drawing shapes, so I figured this would be good. Plus, the watercolor bends really nicely to the shape I want to put it to, and it just works out. Once I'm done filling in all of my yellow little ovals, I'm just going to dab on a little bit of brown onto my little ovals, just to give them a little bit of a shadow, although you can do a simple cross hatching here, and it'll give you more of a pineapple-like shape if you would like that. But if not, that's totally fine. You can leave them like I left them. For the crown of the pineapple, I am going to basically make a few lines that vary in size, but overall that have a very parallel sort of look. If you don't know how to do this, I would recommend doing like half of an asterisk, and that would definitely help. As I went, I decided to leave some of my crowns to dry, so that way I can just go back over them with a darker color just to give them a little bit more dimension, although you can leave them just as I have them here. You don't have to, they're totally a preference. In terms of time that this took me, I would say it was probably around 15 to 20 minutes per card. So if you have 15 to 20 minutes and you just kind of want to have a little wine night with friends, I definitely recommend making some of these. I pulled out my One Cool Pineapple stamp set, and I'm using some Hero Arts Intense Black ink to stamp down those beautiful and cute little sunglasses onto my pineapples. And then I'm just going to add a few hearts and a few circles just about my pineapples to give them a little bit more shape and direction. And because these water brush pens are just excellent at adhering to how you want to draw them. If you know how to draw a little heart and fill it in, these would be perfect. To finish this off, I'm going to raise this up on a Sunshine card base and use a few Moonshine sequins from Simon Says Stamp, and that finished off this card. For my next card, I'm making sure I have a clean water brush, and I'm going to be using the largest tip of the detailed brush sets, and I am going to start off making a few triangles with some magenta or pink ink from the water pan set. And the reason why is because I wanted to make a few watermelons. I really wanted to stamp down the sentiment, "You're one in a melon." Again, if you don't have the stamp set, you don't have to use this sentiment. You can use one that just says hello, something about summer. You can literally just leave it blank as is and give it to someone. You don't even have to stamp anything down, honestly. It's just a really nice card overall. The nice wedges of watermelon, all I did was draw semicircles, and as you can see, not every one of the shapes I drew is perfect. I tried to leave a few little white spaces in between as I colored them in, just so I can put a few seeds and it gives a little bit more of that water wash sort of feel. For my rinds, I left a little space between the actual shape of my triangle or of my watermelon and where I wanted to put the rind, just so that way I can have a little bit of a gradient. And I'm going in with my fine detail water brush pen from Arteza, and I'm just going to make parentheses lines. They're literally just this little parentheses line around my watermelon. And again, if your watermelons look a little funky, don't freak out. The funkier the better, the quirkier. They look great, I'm sure. To finish off this look, I'm going to take the same brush I was working on, and I'm going to just wait for my paint to dry, and then I'm going to draw on a few black seeds. So they're literally just little dots that I'm making. You can do this with a pen. I prefer to do it with the brush because they are literally really, really easy to work with. So hence why I'm showing it to you guys. But yeah. Once I'm done with all of that, I waited for everything to dry, and then I went ahead and I stamped down "You're one in a melon" using some Hero Arts Intense Black ink, and I had to do this a few times. That's kind of one of the things about this watercolor paper. It feels like cotton. It's extremely absorbent, but when it comes to stamping, it's a little bit more temperamental than Strathmore watercolor paper, which I don't think is a plus, but I didn't mind it. I thought that the coloring was well worth it, so I just dealt with it. But yeah, that finished off this card. For my next card, I was obsessed with the with Instagram lately. There have been a lot of cards showcasing popsicles, and if you follow me on Instagram, then you know that because I was probably highlighting a ton of popsicle cards on my stories for a while. For this, I'm going to actually have to use the grid lines on my mat so I can kind of stay straight. I don't know why I decided to make the super tiny popsicle card, but for the shapes of my popsicles, I'm going to be doing these elongated triangles and ovals, which are really, really easy to do with this fine detail brush pen from Arteza. I know I keep saying it, but guys, like, it's so true. I went to Blick Art Supplies for a detail, like a small detail tapered brush, and I, for whatever reason, couldn't get the same results as I was getting with this brush pen. So I definitely recommend it just from somebody who's used both. But if you don't, I totally get it. But yeah, I made different shapes, little triangles, different ovals. And after I was done letting everything dry, I made a few ombre, I made a few stripes and parallel lines on some of my little popsicles, and even put a few dots of navy blue ink on some of my popsicles to make it look like fruit was frozen inside. And once I was very happy with how everything looked, I went ahead and from my stash I pulled out a stamp set from Hero Arts that is like an ice cream color layering set, and in that set there's a sentiment that says "I melt for you," and I thought that was perfect to just kind of leave this card super simple, to the point, and just go ahead and stamp the sentiment right on the bottom right hand corner. I used a few of my clear little embellishments and my glossy accents to adhere them down, and I then raised this entire card on a sunshine card base, but because I had glued it on weirdly, I had to go ahead and trim it first. I did make a few other cards that are popsicle related that aren't as tiny, but here is the detail that I actually put into those little popsicles. And for the most part, that finished us off. For my next card, I wanted to do something that wasn't as tiny, that if like you're kind of intimidated with smaller designs that everybody can kind of do. So I went ahead and I wanted to make a cactus. To start this off, I literally just elongated an oval from the bottom just to start off, and I'm going to use my largest tapered brush that came in the Arteza set, along with a lot of the green ink, and I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to keep distributing that until I'm happy. For everything else that came from this main cactus, I literally just drew a tear shape and filled it in with green. I can always go back and add more color to make shadows, but the shapes of this cactus are essentially just ovals, tears, or teardrops, and more ovals. It was nothing super complicated, and the shape of your cactus doesn't have to be super intricate. Because it's watercolor, it gives it this like storybook sort of look that I'm just kind of in love with. So I really love these cards, and I love the fact that you can just freehand them and do them yourself whenever you want. You don't really have to rely on a stamp set, just your own time and your own imagination. But yeah, that's really all it really took to make this card. Of course, cacti have little flowers, and for this I had to do some of the same little asterisk-like shapes on the tops of these cacti, and I did it with pink because I felt like that would really pop out against it. Off screen, I also made a few cactus needles, so I had to wait for this to be extremely dry to just make those cactus needles pop out, and all they were little lines that I put throughout. While I was stamping this the sentiment, my little ink blot fell, and I didn't want to remake this entire card, so I left the little ink stain at the bottom, and I just go ahead and I make another little cacti at the bottom to kind of go along with the big cacti, or the big cactus. And yeah, I just did the exact same process to try to hide it and whatnot. But you know what? That's kind of what the beauty of having handmade cards that you give to people you love is. You know, it's handmade, not Hallmark. You're not expected to be perfect. So I just left it. I think it gives it a little bit of character, don't you think? I attached this card to a paper bag piece of cardstock, and that finished off this card. I left it super simple. For my next card, I wanted to make a rainbow-esque sort of card, but for whatever reason, I couldn't think of something, and then I remembered that, you know, Pride Month just came by. I didn't do anything for it, and I felt like a really bad bisexual for it, but it's fine. Every day is Pride Month, so I went ahead and I wanted to make this card kind of in honor of it, even though it's kind of late. So I did balloons. I think balloons are a really easy shape for anybody. They're just circles with a little trapezoid at the bottom for the bottom, and that was it. And I thought this would also showcase like how good of a rainbow Arteza's water pan set would definitely give you. So I just go ahead and I make a ton of balloons. And the way I achieved the layered look was that I tried to put whatever color I wanted in the forefront and whatever color I wanted in the background by drawing the shape of like the balloon in the background or around the other balloon, so that way it looks more like it's in the background and whatever else is in the foreground. I skipped ahead and I just, you know, drew all these other balloons because I think this card took me the longest out of all of the cards that I made, just because I was trying to figure out all of the colors. I'm new to this watercolor set, so I was kind of trying to figure it out on camera while I was working to make this video for you guys. So yeah. But anyway, once I'm done, I took a Muji Fine Detail black pen, and I'm just drawing a few bows and a few lines here and there just to give this more of a balloon sort of look. And this is something I also enjoy, is having detail along with like something as abstract as a watercolor drawing. I drew a few lines, and then I go ahead and I stamp down the "You Bring Sunshine" sentiment at the bottom of my card. From my stash, I pulled out a few Doodlebug Heart stickers, and I just stick them about my my balloons along, you know, the colors and whatnot. And then I go ahead and I make a few little hearts and circles and stars, just to give it a little bit more interest. And once that's done, that finished off this card. Well guys, I hope that you guys enjoyed this. Don't forget, if you like any of these products, there is definitely a discount code below that you can use. I'm also using affiliate links because, ta-da, I've also become an Arteza affiliate. Who knew? So please shop below, keep supporting me in this channel, and I hope to see you guys again soon. Take care.